Part 2 about living in Accra, Ghana. Like I've mentioned before, I am Nigerian American and I don't live in either one of those two countries. I'm taking a break from America and I chose not to live in Nigeria because Nigeria is a hot ass mess. And Chad, when I tell you I am allergic to mess, I'm allergic to mess. So right now, Ghana is all I got for now. And like I've mentioned before, I genuinely do appreciate the fact that I live in Ghana. Shout out to Ghana, shout out to Ghanaians, because without Ghana, where else will I go? I don't even know. Maybe I'll be in East Africa managing whatever it is over there. Shout out to all the East Africans, but you people are too far from my village. So it makes more sense for me to be here in Ghana so that in case they say all the Nigerians should go, I'll just humbly enter bus and start going straight to Abia State. We thank God. However, in as much as it is that I genuinely do appreciate the fact that somebody like me can live here in Ghana until I figure out what's next, maybe continue living here or move back to America or move somewhere else. I can't help but notice how the influx of a lot of foreigners, especially Americans, is affecting the average Ghanaian citizen here. Now, I'm pretty sure before the whole year of return thing that happened about 5-6 years ago, there have been people who've been moving to Ghana, including Americans, but the year of return opened this whole big ass opportunity for a lot of people, especially Americans, most especially Black Americans, to start flooding into Ghana. And to be honest, I think that's actually a very solid financial strategy for Ghanaian government to attract a lot of Americans. Like I mentioned before, for such a long time, a lot of Black Americans, especially the affluent Black Americans, have been very frustrated with the systemic racism in America. And they've been looking for opportunities to invest their time, energy, and money outside of America. And Ghana is one of the only Black countries. I don't know what's going on in the Caribbean islands. Shout out to the Caribbean people. But I feel like Ghana is one of the only countries on the continent that has actually given opportunity to that need. So a lot of Black Americans took it. But as a result of that, things have gotten significantly more expensive, very unaffordable for the average Ghanaian. Right now, it's not as bad, even though I'm able to see it. Where I live is really not that bougie. It's very average for the most part. But the truth is that an average Ghanaian cannot afford this. Matter of fact, a lot of the places here that you see expats, foreigners and so on and so forth, the average Ghanaian cannot afford it. You might see Ghanaians who work here and sometimes Nigerians who work in the places here and there, but these places are not intentionally created for the average Ghanaian. And to me, maybe it's just the empath in me, it makes me a bit sad. It makes me a bit sad that a lot of people who can afford a lot of these services and, these real estates and things like that are people who have some type of affiliation with the West. Even if they're Ghanaians, it usually is a Ghanaian who went to school in America or UK or has some type of foreign degree or foreign accent. Like, it's very sad that the average Ghanaian who was born and raised in Ghana is not able to tap into this wealth that Ghana has generated. And it's the same way with other African countries too, like Nigeria included. And I know the whole year of return thing is relatively new, like it's been like 5 or 6 years. So they're not really feeling it as much because it's still new. I think the average Ghanaian for them right now, when they see a lot of Americans coming into their country, it's very attractive to them because to them, this is an opportunity for Ghana to be put on the map. But eventually and inevitably, they will start feeling it in quantum. Maybe like in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, when all these kids are growing up and they're going to be competing for resources and opportunities with foreigners and the children of foreigners, and they come to realize that the ones who are more privileged are more likely to grab those opportunities and not them, the locals. I don't think that'll go too well, but we thank God. All of them, when they born on this picking them, now not picking go collect them, but we thank God. As for me, I be gone by then. But the good news though is, as somebody mentioned in one of the comments, Ghana is bigger than Accra. There's a lot of land in Ghana outside of Accra. It's just that a lot of people prefer to be in Accra because Accra is the most developed. Accra also has an international airport. Accra has a lot of expats. Accra has a lot of services that a lot of foreigners like myself is used to. But there's a lot of lands. And also Accra is becoming very saturated and a lot of real estate developers are venturing out towards the outskirts of Accra where things are not as expensive. So there's a lot of opportunities to invest as a foreigner. I'm just concerned. Again, maybe that's just the empath in me. I'm just concerned as to what this is doing to the average Ghanaian. Right now, a lot of the average Ghanaians cannot afford a lot of these services unless they have some type of affiliation with the West. And I just feel like it's going to get worse. But then if I start saying some of these things, some people will say I'm a negative person, but that's what makes me a prophet. I can see these things. We thank God. But that being said, it still does not negate the fact that I am truly grateful that I, a foreigner, is able to live here in Ghana and tap into the peace of mind that Ghana is sharing for free. Even though I don't know how much longer it will last. But until then, may God be with all of us. Amen. We thank God.